Hey guys, welcome to the Artisan channel, and yes, I set up this arcade system in front of me in just a couple of minutes. This is so easy to set up, even a beginner without any technical skills can do it without any problems. This here is called the Pandora 11 arcade system with the controls integrated into the top of it to enjoy some two-player gameplay. You plug it into your monitor, it has the sound coming from the bottom down below. You can turn it on and it comes up with 3003 games right off the get-go out of the box. It is well organized in the menu and you can choose between categories as well and search between the games, and everything is very easy to get to. This system is around $200, and if you want to check it out, the link is in the description down below. It might be a little bit expensive for some of you guys, but I think it is well worth it because it is a very well organized system and it works very well for what it is used for. Now let's get into the unboxing and see how this device is. Now let's unbox the system. And a nice thing that I noticed is that they installed the ball tops already, unlike some other arcade systems where you have to install them yourself by opening up the box and screwing them in. Here the buttons are nicely protected with some protection film. That is to, of course, protect it from getting scratched while shipping to you, which is a very nice touch and very nice thing of them to do. Now out of the box we have a user manual, USB type A to type A cable, as well as an HDMI cable, a power plug, a plug converter, a AC adapter, and a VGA cable out of the box. Of course, they also included a couple of spare buttons for you to install in case you need it. And also they added some protection film to the plexiglass top of the arcade box, which is a nice thing of them to do. Now let's move on to the inputs. So let's talk a little bit about the buttons. They don't have much of a wiggle to them. They sound good. They sound like actual arcade buttons. I'm not going to say I have a lot of experience with arcade buttons, but these probably are clones from Sanwa. As far as I can tell, I opened up the insides and checked it out and saw that they look exactly like a Sanwa one, so they're Sanwa clones, that's for sure. So you can upgrade it in case you wanted to upgrade it, but these are good quality enough, I would say, for China. And you don't need to upgrade them if you just want to have a casual arcade gameplay, because they work fine. They don't have much of a wiggle to them, as you can see. And the joystick, they sound a little bit different than the real deal, but they feel also a little bit different, but they do actually feel quite good. And the actuators work all fine, which is a good feat for Chinese clones. So I'm happy with this. And I'm not going to switch them out because they feel good enough for me already. So let's move on to the insides of the arcade box. Now that we need to get into the system, we need to loosen up these screws and get them out. It's not that difficult. Let's open her up. There's some resistance when you open it up, but nothing too bad really. Here we have the buttons and joystick, and they are Sanwa clones, as I said. Connected to the main board. The main board has a nice and big cooler heatsink fan setup. We have an SD card slot. The internal SD card is over here. It is 32 GBs and most likely filled up completely with all kinds of games. 3003 games is not nothing. But this device is not capable of playing N64, PSP and Dreamcast games. That's why they're not included in the package. A lot of the Pandora boxes are not capable of doing that at full speeds, so I don't think you're really missing out on anything here. You got some better Pandora boxes that are more expensive, but those have PlayStation Portable games, Dreamcast games and stuff like that, but I have seen the performance isn't that great compared to what is normally possible. Over here we have the speaker, downward firing speaker, 8 ohms and 5 watts. You can disable the speaker using the volume wheel over here on the other side, of course, in case you have an HDMI, internal HDMI screen speaker. We have a blue LED strip over here. You can disable the LED strip by just unplugging this thing over here, and then you don't have the light. I don't think anybody would like to do that because it's quite cool, the LED strip. And that's it for the insides. Let's just take a look at the other side of the inputs and outputs panel. We have an on and off switch, DC 12-volt power input for the AC adapter. We have an HDMI port over here, as well as a VGA port for older monitors. We have an audio jack, 3.5 millimeters for headphones and aux-in cables. We have a volume wheel to increase and decrease the volume of the internal speaker of this system. We have a settings button to access the settings of the operating system, as well as two USB Type-A ports. So these can be used to hook up controllers to this system, as well as you can hook up the Type-A to Type-A cable and hook it up to your PC and use this as a controller by itself. And now let's move on to the operating system of this device and check that out. So let's talk a little bit about the operating system. We can navigate between games using up and down. We can change between pages using left and right. We got around 3003 games ranging between Neo Geo, MAME, CPS 1, 2, 3. We have also some PlayStation 1 games, as well as Mega Drive games, as I have seen. We got also a method of searching between games by pressing B and then typing out the game you want to see. For example, let's say Sonic, because there are some Sonic games on here, as I have seen. Sonic and then we got our Sonic games over here. And then you press D once again to go back to your main menu. We can also search between categories by going to the start button, and then you got fighting games, action games, shooting games, sport games, and puzzle games. You can, of course, just press on puzzle. We got all the puzzle games. We got a whole lot of them, as you can see. And that's how you navigate between categories. We can go back, and then let's just talk about the settings a little bit. Go back to the settings button on the back over here. Press on the button. We got an I/O test where you can test all the inputs if they're working all right. All the buttons can be tested. And then you press the start button and the A button to go back. We can redefine keys. We can change some system settings. We can change the settings for the coins. So one coin is going to get you how many credits, or how many coins is going to get you 1 credit, that kind of stuff. We got our smooth settings going on over here. So there's some interpolation you can turn on to change the feel of the games. Because this is 720p, you can turn on smooth and make it look a little bit more modern and smoothed out. But if you turn it off, it will give you a more retro, authentic, blocky look. And some people prefer that, but it's all depending on your personal preference. I like to have my smooth on. And let's go back and check out the game settings. For each game, you can change the difficulty and life. Oh, it's set to 1. And I'm struggling in games, which doesn't make me feel any better about myself, but okay. You can change the difficulty and the amount of lives you're going to get for each game in this menu. And then that's it for the settings. You can save and exit. It will power off and restart. And then that is that for the operating system and software on this system. Let's move on to some gameplay and my verdict, and let's call it a day.
Fighters ready. Engage. Let's go.
My opinion on this system is that I am very happy with it, and I'm going to play around with it a lot more. Most of these systems that I buy or review, I'm not going to touch them again after reviewing them, but this one is definitely one of the devices that I'm going to play around with a lot more. In my opinion, this is a very good buy. It might be a little bit expensive for some of you guys out there, but for $200, this is the more cheaper Pandora box that is out there. There are more expensive Pandora boxes out there, and I think it is the best balanced one out there, because you have other Pandora boxes that can run PSP, Dreamcast, and PlayStation 1 a lot better, but this system here is good enough for what it is, because I don't even need to play PlayStation 1 games and Dreamcast games and all that stuff on this system with the controls, because I'm used to them with different types of controls. If I wanted to play them, I'll play them on a different system, not on the arcade system. Arcade systems are good for arcade games, and that is it, in my opinion. So that's it for my verdict, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.